Good morning, everybody. What is up with this eyebrow? Quarantine eyebrow. Ish. Behave, eyebrow. Behave. What's up, everybody? Backwoods and I'm in Georgia. What counties? Geez, Brianna. This isn't preppersonly.com. Keep it on the forums. Chuck, Intuitive Survival. How is everybody? Hey, before we get started, I want to show you guys this really cool shirt. I got this shirt from, this is not a plug for, not to ask you to go do anything, but there's a band called Bread for War. B-R-E-D, the number 4, War. And they're a Christian metal band. Morning, everybody. And they sent me this shirt, and I think it's awesome. It says, "Make America Mosh Again." Then Bread for War 2020. Make America Mosh Again. And it's a really cool shirt. So, and they've sent me some shirts before, and it just as a thank you, Bear, for what you do. And so, Bagram Air Base, or just Bagram in general? Are you just chilling in Bagram? You're like, what's up? I found these 2 pieces of cardboard and a sheet of tin. I'm good to go, bro. Rocket stove, half a goat. Let's partay. Let's do it. So, anyway, Bread for War is the name of the band. They've got stuff here on YouTube. You should check them out. I just posted yesterday that Christianity and heavy metal. Well, this is a Christ edifying B-R-E-D, no A in the bread. B-R-E-D, the number 4, War. You're welcome. So, anyway, Nick Raqueenhoff, what's up, y'all? Darren Hill, Shaloha. That was a plug. Chris, I don't make anything from telling you that. They're just a bunch of good guys, okay? So, with that, honey toast for breakfast. Good for you, honey toast for breakfast. All right, let's get this partay started. Thank you all for being here. There's so many things you could be doing with your, what day is it? Tuesday morning? Anybody else losing their days during the quarantine? Pinkies up. Yes, Disaster Coffee. The best coffee. Tremendous. Which, by the way, I misspoke yesterday. Their bunker beans don't ship in Mylar bags. You should put them in Mylar bags. So, we'll address that later. Thank you all for being here. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. That helps us tremendously in the YouTube algorithms. YouTube doesn't like us, partly because of this, right there, partly because of this right here, and mostly because of this right here. So if you could assist us in the ever-present battle against YouTube censorship by liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing, we would greatly appreciate that. I would really like this to kind of go out there and reach the masses. I love that it's us here in the Bear Nation, but this is a really good opportunity for me and for us to grow the Bear Nation. Prepper evangelism is at an all-time high right now, I think, and there's so much bad information out there. Like, there just is. Like, do we even need to go into the 12 reasons why zombies are going to rape your dog and eat your kids? Or maybe a little bit more sanity here. So, please, I'm asking you, please share this stuff out. Shout out to everybody who's listening to the podcast. I just checked this morning. We have over 21,000 downloads of the podcast. That's awesome. So, mucho apreciado, hombres and mis hermanas. Yeah, the podcast, we're reading Isaiah in the podcast right now. So if you're not into Bible stuff, it's probably not the podcast for you. But if you're kind of into Bible stuff, or you are into Bible stuff, or you wonder how Bear is into Bible stuff, then the podcast is probably for you. You can get it on iTunes, Podbean, and it's also streaming at bearindependent.com. So Awesome. As always, the entirety of this report is available on Patreon for the $1 and up patrons. Just go to Patreon and search Bear Independent. Check us out in the web store. I don't have any cool things to show you from the web store right now, but you guys know what's there. Intel, tasty Intel nuggets. Go to Bear Independent, Intel at bearindependent.com to keep the dance monkeys fed, because the way this report works is y'all send us the intel, they assemble the intel, and then I deliver the intel, okay? And so this report was posted in its entirety on Patreon last night, along with pics and supporting documents as always, and then I deliver the report the following morning here on YouTube. But all of this intel comes from y'all. So this is a partnership here, and if you have anything you'd like to share, intel at bearindependent.com. And lastly, Grindstone Ministries, we are spinning up for our summer and fall deployments. I will announce those dates via an email blast. So if you want to be involved with that, you need to be signed up for the email blast at grindstoneministries.com. And we are building a church at Shofar Mountain, and we are building a chapel at Bethany House. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But in the meanwhile, we're going to hydrate with this coffee. Bear, coffee doesn't hydrate. It's diuretic. It makes you pee. Good job, armchair warrior. I'm going to hydrate with this coffee, and then we're going to get started. The best. Bear Independent Intel Report, 28 April 2020. Overview. The number of confirmed cases worldwide and in the U.S. continues to climb. As of the time of this reporting, global cases have now surpassed 3 million, 3.057 million, with 1.9 million active cases. Global deaths are 211,000, and global recoveries are 919,000. U.S. cases have now surpassed the 1 million mark. Repeat, there are over 1 million confirmed U.S. cases. 1,006,807, with 812,000 of those being active cases. U.S. deaths are 56,000, and U.S. recoveries are 137,000. So somebody could do the math on that. That's approximately a 5.6% mortality rate? Or is that a 0.56%? If it was 100,000 deaths out of a million cases, that'd be at 10%. So 50,000 kids, a 5.6% mortality rate, right? Based upon these numbers. However, as we've seen elsewhere, like in LA, where they found that 55 times more people had the coronavirus than what they thought. So, or in like New York, where they found I think it was 2.5 million people have antibodies in their bloodstream for COVID-19, meaning 2.5 million people in New York were exposed to, contracted, and then recovered from COVID-19 in New York. So in New York, 2.5 million people, although the global cases here is reported as 3 million people. So based upon these numbers, the actual rate of death, not even actual, the numeric rate of death is a 5.6% death rate. However, those case numbers are actually, what's reported is this big, what's actual is that big, okay? So this thing is actually, based upon these numbers, far less deadly than we thought, which is a good thing. It's a good thing because we need to get back to work. You know, we as individuals and we, the collective, we need to get back to work, because I am not ready to shave a mohawk into my head, to start wearing leather and try and go kill Mel Gibson. I'm not ready for that yet. Actually, I'm not going to say I like Mel Gibson, but bro, Braveheart, freedom, right? Awesome. The Patriot, come on. Come on. And Payback, that was a great movie. Great movie. All right. The Labor Department and CDC jointly issued new guidelines for U.S. meat packing and meat processing plants, saying employees should be spaced at least 6 feet or 1.8 meters for you metric people. That's roughly this far apart. And screened before they start working. More than and I have this underlined in my copy of the report, more than 5,000 U.S. meat and food processing workers have been infected with or exposed to the novel coronavirus, and 13 have died. Yet another reason, and listen, we get groceries from Walmart too, okay? So don't let anybody, myself included, let you think that when we're hungry, we walk out the front door and gather up some acorns and pound them in a mortar and pestle into flour, which we then, cook in our solar oven and eat like thin, wispy wafers of deliciousness. No, we're people too. Like we're not crunchy hippies. We're people too. We get Walmart groceries just like the vast majority of the rest of the nation does. But yet another reason why we should continue to pull back from the system. Because the people who are processing the food that comes on the styrofoam wrapped in the saran wrap are sick. I don't know how long that stuff can live on surfaces. Nobody really knows how long that stuff can live on surfaces. I've seen anywhere from 9 to 72 hours. These people are sick. And there's so much that goes on, and I don't want to jump into this rabbit hole, but there's so much that goes on in factory farming and mass processing of animals anyway. It's uncool, it's unclean, literally and figuratively. It's just not good. So what we do though often is walk out the front door and go, today's your day, chicken. Well, my wife goes and I go, okay, 3 hits, cool. And then we eat the chicken. Slaughterhouse shutdowns are disrupting the U.S. food supply chain. See? Crimping the availability of meat at retail stores and leaving farmers without outlets for their livestock. John H. Tyson was quoted saying, quote, farmers across the nation simply will not have anywhere to sell their livestock to be processed when they could have fed the nation. Millions of animals, chickens, pigs, and cattle will be depopulated because of the closure of our processing facilities. And then this is underlined in the report. The food supply chain is breaking, end quote. So the first thing here is, I believe we should take people at face value until they prove otherwise. Now, I don't know John H. Tyson. We don't hang out. We've never sipped whiskey around a campfire before. But if John H. Tyson says, listen, the food supply chain is breaking, let's take him at his word. Roger that. Again, what can we do about that? Let's onboard as much personal responsibility over where our food comes from as possible. So that's the first thing, is in the microcosm of your life, the little tiny microcosm of your life. How do you feed you? We have myriad videos on this. Homesteading, suburban homesteading, gardening, no-till gardening, livestock. I did an 8-part series on Patreon about producing protein on land. I mean, everything. Chickens, rabbits, ducks, sheep, goats, cows, foraging, I know I'm missing stuff, turkeys, and what goes into all of that. We've done butchering videos here and on Patreon, right? Which, boy, the algorithm loves that. Hey, this morning we're gonna see this nice little cute animal, we're gonna, and then here's how you rip it apart and turn it into meat. YouTube is like, oh, you killed it. Yes, it's food, but it was so cute. It's food. So, if the food supply chain is breaking, how do we sanctify ourselves from that, set ourselves apart from that? The next is, how do we, and we talked about this yesterday, and this has been on my heart. How do we, as a group, as pockets of groups, not the big collective we, but as our local regional we, our tribes, our mags, our teams, how do we hook into these resources that the system is destroying because it can't process, and onboard that for us? Us being however big of a circle you draw around you, whether us is you and your extended family. I know we have a brother that his extended family is like 50 people. And those 50 people get together every Saturday for home church service at his house. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, you legitimately have your own clan, bro. Like, with a C, not a K, because with the K is totally messed up. I'm not into that. But this guy's like, you know what I mean? There's 50 of them. So when they have to feed their extended family, it's literally an all-day project just to cook to feed the extended family. So for that group, 5,000 chickens would be 100 chickens per person per year, or 2 chickens a week, which doesn't sound like that much, and it isn't when you start processing. See what I mean? So how do we get 5,000 chickens? I don't know yet. But man, if there's somebody out there who is in the logistics system of the food supply chain, I'd love to talk to you. Shoot me an email. Email is always in the description of these videos. November Tango X-Ray Mike Alpha Golf at gmail.com. How do we build a network of people that allows us to tap into these resources that the system isn't using? Because I don't think it's cool that we're going to kill a bunch of animals and not use them at a time where food is becoming more and more scarce. That's stupid. So how do we circumvent the hiccup in the supply chain and apply logic and work ethic to this thing so that we can make use of those resources? How do you do it? If you're already doing it, I'd love to know, because I want to share with the rest of the Bear Nation so that we can do this. Moving on. In the UK, NHS doctors have been sent an urgent alert warning of a rise in children admitted to intensive care with coronavirus-related condition called inflammatory syndrome. This syndrome can cause vomiting, diarrhea, severe inflammation that affects the skin, blood vessels, and heart. Additionally, it can cause harmful internal swelling, fever, and breathing problems, all three of which are also main symptoms of coronavirus. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is a mutated strain of the coronavirus or this is something else. I don't know. This is the first time that I'm seeing this. Of course, we'll continue to keep an eye on it. When combining the unemployment numbers from before the coronavirus with the recent spike, the total would equal more than 33 million unemployed. A 20.6% real unemployment rate, which would be the highest level since 1934. So, yet again, unsustainable in the macro. We can't keep doing this in the macro. So, economic collapse if we don't correct this. And so we got to get back to work. We got to get back to work in a safe and responsible manner, but we got to get back to work. This is like those, you know what, we're not going to go there. But you being able to feed your family is essential. So the whole idea of like essential services and non-essential services, I get that, but you being able to put food in your kid's mouth is essential. At least from where I'm sitting, it's essential. And as stated previously, I'm done asking permission to do things that are given to me by my Creator and protected by my Constitution. Thanks, but no thanks. Now, I understand you have a job to do, Mr. or Mrs. Guy with the badge, guy in the mayor's office, guy in the governor's office, lady in the governor's office, whatever. I get it. But your job is not to infringe on my life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness. Period, the end. And so my liberty allows me to come and go as I see fit, to worship as I see fit, to engage in whatever means necessary to feed my family as I see fit, as long as I am not infringing upon the rights of others. So if we don't go back to work, if we keep doing this economic shuffle step of, well, there's debt, so we'll print more money. Well, we'll monetize that debt. Well, we'll just give all that worthless money to everybody. Collapse, bro. I'm not interested in it. 2 or more eyewitness accounts under continuity of infrastructure and supply chains. Repeating, processing and manufacturing slowdowns are decreasing supply of goods. Farmers are dumping their milk. Produce is being plowed under or allowed to rot, and large numbers of egg-laying hens and hogs are being euthanized due to a lack of large processing ability, or a large lack of processing ability. U.S. pork production alone is down at least 15% due to closures. Now, I don't eat swine. I know a lot of y'all do. There are a lot of people around the world that do. And so, on the one hand, this doesn't affect me at all. I could care less. On the other hand, it removes food from the market. When there's no food, people get desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. All the more reason we got to spin the economy back up. All the more reason that we need to localize our supply chains, that we need to be responsible for how we're going to eat today. I don't have it in me to be the person that begs permission to be fed today. That makes me want to scratch my beard. For those of y'all that are unfamiliar, the way Bear scratches his beard looks like this. I'm not going to beg anybody for the right to feed myself and my loved ones. But the people that will could become extremely dangerous if this thing continues to, if we continue to roll down the hill like we are right now. It's like that snowball that rolls down the hill. That's a exponential growth effect. The faster it rolls down the hill, the more it gathers, the bigger it gets, until it just becomes crushing and devastating when it reaches its final destination. I don't want to be standing at the bottom of the hill. I want to be at the top of the hill, watching that thing roll away, going, that sucks. Glad I'm not at the bottom of the hill. And of course, all the metaphors. It takes a lot of hard work to climb the hill in the snow. But it's time to climb the hill, boys and girls. Newest intel. Delaware and Michigan farmers just euthanized about 2 million chickens, and 200,000 hogs may now be put down in Minnesota due to plant closures. Repeating, reduced ethanol has led to reduced carbon dioxide, which is used in water treatment. Legal and political. Many places are beginning to cautiously open up or are making plans to do so. Some places are extending their orders or modifying them. Bars and nightclubs are pushing to reopen with restaurants in early May. Maine's governor has deemed Hobby Lobby an essential business. Many other small businesses are still closed. Boston's mayor has made it clear that the city will not be reopening on the 4th of May, the current expiration date for the state's restrictions. In New Jersey, the stay-at-home order is continuing indefinitely. The governor is waiting to see a 14-day trend of reduction in the metrics before reopening. This gets back to population density equation. The more people you have, the more severe things like this are going to be, and the longer it's going to take to recover from things like this. We have strongly encouraged y'all, forever and a day, to calculate your population density equation, and if it's too high, GTFO, man, just leave. And I've heard literally hundreds of excuses from people about why they can't. And some of them are really good. Well, I'm divorced and my kids are here and I can't leave. I understand that. I get it. I absolutely get it. And unfortunately, because of that circumstance, you're going to be subjected to other circumstances because of your population density. And that's a calculated risk that many people take, and I totally get it. Aside from that, that's the only one I've heard where I'm like, that makes sense, I understand. The rest of them, get out. If I can move from the Babylon of North Texas, right outside of Dallas, to the nowhere of where I am right now, with my wife and 3 kids and an 80-something-year-old grandma, and while working 70, 80 hours a week, I don't want to hear about how hard it is. Get out. Medical. Repeating. Clinicians suspect COVID-19 may cause other more lasting issues than what was previously suspected. It may affect the heart, kidneys, liver, and more. Additionally, more waves of the outbreak are expected. ERs and other medical care facilities are continuing to struggle financially, and furloughs are common. A doctor in Detroit was giving intravenous vitamin C to first responders. His clinic was raided and is now under investigation for allegedly offering fraudulent treatments against COVID-19 and for not following protocol to protect workers and patients from the virus. Yay, government. Detroit, population density, heavy-handed government. Who'd have thought? Under the heading of societal and general, covfefe. Toddler. There's a wild toddler. Repeating. Good morning, honey. Thank you. It has been noted in several areas that food distribution lines are unusually long and that food banks are becoming more and more undersupplied, especially to meet the growing demand. We receive reports from Bear Nation alone that add up to several thousand beneficiaries daily in several specific areas scattered across the nation. Rallies and protests are continuing, though Facebook is removing many of these pages that are attempting to organize these. Which, listen, Facebook is a cesspool of humanity anyway. We've known this for a long while. I don't know why we get upset when we're like, Facebook's banning Patriot stuff. It's like, no S, that's what they do. They ban Patriot stuff. They're a bunch of losers. It's like, holy cow, my dog took a crap in the yard. It's like, that's what he does. He's a dog. He craps in the yard. Like, I don't know why we're amazed by this. That's what they do. That being said, again, forums at bearindependent.com. Are we the size of Facebook? Absolutely not. If we were, things would be different. I'll just put it that way. We're not. But forums at bearindependent.com. Also, Facebook standard is you can post whatever you want about get-togethers as long as those get-togethers, these rallies, don't violate any of the mandated quarantine rules. So essentially, you can't post anything about rallies and protests. So that was a cute little move by Facebook. I don't know why people are amazed by Facebook behaving like Facebook. Hey, the tyrants are tyrannical. Wow. Astute observation, bro. 2 food banks in New Mexico have teamed up to cope with issues they were facing with both the virus prevention guidelines and the influx of need. That's awesome. Again, partnerships. We got to figure this out better now. That's the whole idea behind Sanctified Industries. And it's an idea that was downloaded into my head by the Most High that, frankly, I have no idea how to run. It's essentially a national network of us, and that we can latch on to resources and then use logistics to move those resources from where the resource is to where the need is. That's gonna take a ton of money. I don't have a ton of money. I have like zero money. All the money that I do have basically goes towards running this and running Grindstone Ministries and several different households affected by this COVID-19 thing right now. But it's gonna take a ton of money. It's gonna take a ton of people. I don't have a ton of people right now, but Yahweh, my Elohim, the Lord our God, is freaking awesome, so we'll figure that part out. Every time I've needed a bona fide badass to do his work, he has just delivered me one on a silver platter. And it's going to take actionable intel out there in the world saying there's 5,000 chickens in this barn. We can buy them for $1 a piece. Good, because that farmer needs that $5,000. We need those 5,000 chickens, and now we're going to butcher 5,000 chickens, and we're going to distribute them locally in this area to people in the Bear Nation who are then going to steward that blessing out to whoever. That's the idea behind Sanctified Industries. It's a concept. It is not a thing that exists yet, but it needs to be. And if not that, somebody who's smarter, better, more talented, richer, better ingratiated into the supply chain network, whoever, take it and run with it. It does not need to be my thing. I've got enough things anyway. It does not need to be my thing. It just needs to happen. Okay. Texas is to begin reopening this Friday, 1 May, along with retail stores, restaurants, movie theaters, museums, and libraries can all open at 25% capacity. Sole proprietors of businesses, doctors, and dentists can resume normal operations. Hospitals still need to keep 50% capacity reserved for COVID-19 patients. If you have tasty intel nuggets you would like to share with the entirety of the Bear Nation, please email us at intel@bearindependent.com. Intel@bearindependent.com. There are precisely how many? 0 A's in the word independent. Intel@bearindependent.com. Hint, it's 1 I and then the rest are all E's. AdventureFrontier.com. Buy your Spartan armor there. Bear wears Spartan armor. Bear bought his Spartan armor at AdventureFrontier.com. Another small businessman. If you are paying down your debt and you've paid your bills and you got food in your pantry and you've bought everything you need to make food come up out of the ground and you still have some scratch left over in your pocket, please consider supporting a small business. One of our small businesses, one of the small businesses we love, or one of your small businesses, or one of the small businesses you love. But go find a mom and pop shop, a sole proprietor, a little tiny business, and bless them. Please, please spend your expendable income to the extent that you have it, whether it's $1 or a cajillion dollars with a small business, because like I said, Jeff Bezos will still have a yacht when this thing is over. A lot of people won't have houses when this is over. So, AdventureFrontier.com is one of those small businesses that we love. BearIndependent.com is where you can get your purpose-built blowout kits. I have circumvented our one supplier of Quick Clot that has been dragging their feet like whoa. My wife and I had a conversation yesterday, and we just spent a ton of money to get 2-day shipping on a ton of Quick Clot to fill all backlogged orders. So if you've ordered a Bear Fac, in 2 days, I'll have all the Quick Clot I need. I still have 22 cases from a different supplier on order that are hopefully going to ship in the next 48 hours. But we just went ahead, bit the bullet, and bought and had 2-day aired a pile of Quick Clot bigger than this, a massive, massive pile of Quick Clot. So, yeah, you can get purpose-built blowout kits, the Bear Fac and the Bear Minimum at BearIndependent.com. Made in America, hand-sewn by an American, guaranteed forever. North American Rescue Components, confirmed 5 lives saved already with these kits. Built with input from U.S. Special Forces, deployed around the world, being used by law enforcement, military personnel, sheepdogs everywhere. The best. Tremendous. Believe me. And then GrindstoneMinistries.com. Please consider visiting GrindstoneMinistries.com. All of the updates for what we're doing as far as deployments in the summer and in the fall are going to be available through email blasts. As stated, we are now actively fundraising for 2 different projects. The first is for Shofar Mountain, a meeting hall at Shofar Mountain to replace the existing meeting hall. And we have 3 different funds. So when you donate, if you feel compelled by the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, to donate to Grindstone, there's 3 separate funds. One is the general fund. That helps with our monthly operating costs, which are low, but they do exist. And for things like, hey, we have a brother in need who hasn't had electricity in 6 months. Is there something we can do to help with that? Yes, there is. General fund. Or hey, we have another brother who was moving from this part of the world to this part of the world and their camper exploded. Is there something we can help with that? Yes, there is. General fund. Okay, so it's a general fund. So the general fund, then we have a Shofar Mountain fund, which is specifically for Shofar Mountain. These two funds don't intermingle. And then we have the Bethany House Fund, which is for Bethany House. Bethany House is the intake facility for a treatment center run by the Demand Project. The Demand Project restores and rehabilitates victims of human trafficking and sex crimes. The average victim is between 8 and 12 years old. The average victim is violated, raped 30 times. Average. The average perpetrator has over 2,000 images on their phone, has violated 70 individuals. 70 individuals on average. So if you do the math on that, that's you arrest one scumbag, that's 2,100 violent rapes prevented. And see, human trafficking is the #1 growing crime in the world. Human trafficking in the United States generated more income than Twitter last year. You could buy every Target in the United States, every Starbucks in the United States, and every basketball team in the United States for less money than was spent on human trafficking last year in the United States. It's disgusting. And there's only 400 beds in the United States dedicated, like hospital beds and treatment center beds, dedicated to rehabilitating victims of human trafficking and sex crimes. And so Bethany House is part of this awesome facility run by the Demand Project, Kristen and Jason at the demandproject.org. And they rescue people, they rescue victims, they lock up scumbags, and then they rehabilitate victims. They also teach prevention to children so that they are not putting themselves in compromising situations so that they can be abducted and then trafficked. Getting back to that $150 billion per year industry, $150 billion per year. It's the #1 fastest growing crime because the cartels have figured out you can sell a bag of heroin one time, but you can sell a 5-year-old 10 times per day for 10 years. Literally, that's the math. And at 15, if they're still alive, if they haven't killed themselves yet or had somebody else kill them, they're used up. You kick them to the curb. It's disgusting. We fight not against flesh and blood, but against nations and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. And so I don't know how to rehabilitate those kids. I only know one way to deal with the perpetrators of these crimes. But I do know how to do construction. And I do have a team by the hand of the Most High of the most talented and awesome construction people. Project managers and carpenters and masons and electricians and general laborers and painters and equipment operators and plumbers and HVAC guys and roofers and framers and just, we have the best. And so what Grindstone does is we seek to be the hands and feet of our Messiah and to serve the least of these. And Bethany House serves the least of these. They suck at construction. My God, they're terrible at it. But they are so good at putting people back together again. So to the extent that we can assist them in putting people back together again, we do. And that is an ongoing partnership between ourselves and the Demand Project, which operates Bethany House. Bethany House is the intake facility so that they can receive these kids and immediately start collecting evidence. That facility has medical on one side of the building and law enforcement on the other. So they're immediately getting the medical treatment they need, the examination, the treatment, the aftercare, and while gathering evidence with the clear chain of custody, which then can go back to a district attorney's office to build an actual case against scumbags. So when you have a college, high school coach who's repeatedly abusing myriad girls and boys, they can correlate all that data, and instead of getting a slap on the wrist, sorry bro, I swear I won't do it again, no, 20 years per count, 12 counts. Enjoy the cell. Next. You're lucky you got the cell. We didn't just let Bear lay hands on you. Be healed. So that's what Grindstone does. And I realize I jumped into that rabbit hole fairly deep, and I apologize. But you can check out grindstoneministries.com if you want to be involved in that. Sign up for the newsletter, the email blast there, because that's what we do. And I'm constantly getting questions of, Bear, when do you do public appearances? How can I hang out with you? I want to be where you are. The only place you'll find me in the world is on a Grindstone mission. Don't come to a Grindstone mission because you want to meet me. You come to a Grindstone mission because the Father puts it on your heart that you are to serve His kingdom. Don't come to meet me. I'm not special. The work Grindstone does is special, and it is far larger than I am. There are so many people behind the scenes at Grindstone that make this stuff happen, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. It's not about me. It's about serving His kingdom. Now, we'll plow through the rest of this. Single accounts, insider intel, and miscellaneous. The owner of a local butcher shop about 45 minutes south of Raleigh, North Carolina, was told by his suppliers that he could expect about a 4-week delay on orders. Severe weather again will be putting 50 million Americans at risk of hail, tornadoes, damaging wind, and flooding conditions. It's that time of year. Be prepared. Again, please check out the Prepper Classroom series of videos here on this channel. That's why they exist, to break this stuff down Barney style for you as a refresher, or you if you're brand new, or for your grandma, uncle, friend, neighbor, pastor, brother, kids, whatever, so that they can be shared out one by one. Prepper Classroom at this channel. There's a whole playlist of almost 30 videos of basic stuff and complex stuff broken down in a basic manner. International. South Korea says Kim Jong-un is alive and well, but speculation continues. Paraguay is extending its school closures through December. The UK says 4 million jobs have been furloughed and a quarter of businesses have stopped trading. Italy has seen 150 deaths among doctors due to the virus, and infections of healthcare professionals make up 10% of the total infections. Almost all German citizens are required to wear masks. Actionable. Consider forming a group and contacting a local cattle farmer to buy live and direct and set up a processing day with your mag. We've talked about this repeatedly. If you cannot obtain seeds in your area, plant your pantry. Dry beans, seeds found inside ripe fruits and vegetables that you have around, potatoes that have been left to sprout, and so forth. You can plant feed corn. It will germinate. It can germinate. It has germinated for me. You can plant pinto beans. They will germinate. They've germinated for me. There's lots of stuff in your pantry that you can plant. Contact your representatives to keep gun stores from closing. Keep HR 5717 and S3254 on your radar. Support your medical care workers. Be careful taking NSAIDs if you're not feeling well. They can make this virus feel much worse. And then the making of masks and DIY mask designs, there's a lot of that on the internet right now. There's a company called At the Front that I've been emailed about several times. At the Front makes military, they're a reenactment outfitter, so they make like Flecktarn camo and like all these old school camo designs. Face masks. At the Front is the name of them. I'm not endorsing them, I'm just making you aware of them. I've never held in my hand one of their products. Silver linings. Oregon is getting millions of masks and an N95 disinfecting machine. Masks have been in extremely short supply for medical care workers there. Buyan, B-U-Y-A-N Ranch in Sheridan, Montana, cannot sell their potato crop, so they are giving the potatoes away to anyone. Again, B-U-Y-A-N Ranch in Sheridan, Montana. I don't know if we have anybody near Sheridan, Montana, but somebody should go there and get as many of those potatoes as possible, or many people should go there and get as many potatoes as possible. Store some, eat some, dehydrate some, and plant a bunch of them. Get as many of those potatoes out into the community as possible and start planting them. A local farmer in the Akwesasne Mohawk Nation traded 4 pounds of walleye fish with an adjacent potato farm and received 14,000 pounds of potatoes in return. It's a pretty good deal. That's 3,500 to 1. 4 pounds of walleye fish for 14,000 pounds of potatoes. The spuds were originally destined for schools in the area, but will now be feeding the community. Again, we need more of this. How do we keep doing this? How do we find these opportunities in the system where the stuff would have been destroyed or would have gone to waste and make use of it in our local communities without the government saying, hey, there's 14,000 potatoes over here, who wants them? This is networking 101. Start working your contacts, start networking. Maybe what we need, and I'll need, I guess, Badger and Renee reach out to me after this. We got to talk about this. But maybe we need a section of the forums at Bear Independent to at least start for, resources, where they are and what they are. And this needs to be one-liners. 14,000 pounds of potatoes available for free. What it is, where it is, what the cost is. Okay? Contact info. What, where, when, how much, how it can be picked up, contact info at the forums at bearindependent.com. That we can start hooking into these resources, capturing this stuff that the system is going to disregard. Literally dumping food into the ground or killing animals or plowing under vegetables because the system can't use it. That's stupid. Links to useful resources are in this document, the entirety of which is on Patreon. So you find those links at Patreon. Notes, again, check out the forums at bearindependent.com. Grindstone is still looking for an attorney and a grant writer. We're having many fruitful conversations with many types of those people right now, but we've not settled on anybody yet that I'm aware of, although I'm not the one who's in charge of that currently. So if you, not your uncles, brothers, cousins, nephews, nurse from the home back in the day, was maybe, I think, an attorney. But if you are an attorney, if you are a grant writer, please email us, November Tango X-Ray Mike Alpha Golf NTXMag at gmail.com. Subject line, attorney or grant writer. To support Grindstone Ministries and battle disaster recovery and assist in everything that we're doing, drink a cup of coffee. I'm gonna. Thank you. Yes, Weasel. I don't know where Mommy is. Disastercoffee.com comes in a variety of blends, ground and whole bean. Also available are their bunker beans. When you store them in Mylar, I messed up yesterday. When you store them in Mylar and oxygen absorbers, These unroasted coffee beans will last 20 years on the shelf. Now, for y'all, you can use the promo code KNIFEHAND, this right here, the promo code KNIFEHAND at disastercoffee.com, and you'll get 10% off your bunker beans. The 5-pound package of bunker beans, you'll get 10% off. So, we just got that in from disastercoffee.com this morning. So, check them out. Sanctified Supply Company as well. They make really cool t-shirts. They support Grindstone. They're a small business. Again, if you've checked all the other boxes and you still got a little bit of cash burning a hole in your pocket, please consider supporting these people. Amendment 1 Preparedness. They make the canned ham radio. I've shown y'all this. Boom, radio. No cords. Canned ham. Amendment 1, the word amendment, the number 1, preparedness.com. Also supporters of Grindstone. So, thank you. Again, the entirety of this report is available on patreon.com. You can just go to Patreon, search for Bear Independent. Starts at $1 a month. Minimum of 24 exclusive pieces of content per month there. This is not a you love us so please give us money thing. This is a we provide exclusive content. Hi. Go play in traffic. Okay, don't. We provide exclusive content each month there, every day there, a minimum of 24, and we're more like 100 pieces a month right now, in addition to everything we do on YouTube. So feel free to check that out. This report also posts early on Patreon. So if you just got to have it right now, this posts the night before on Patreon, along with all the pictures and supporting documents that go with it. Check us out at the store. As I mentioned, please support small businesses, ours or anybody else's. We have 10 households that are being supported by Bear Independent in part or in whole right now, and that is done through a direct partnership with y'all. And so we really, really appreciate you. Shout out to our patrons. Y'all are total badasses. You are the economic engine of the Bear Nation, and we would not do this without y'all. We could not do this without y'all. So thank you very mucho. Now, what did we do since last we spoke? We filled orders. We made a massive order of Quick Clot. Another massive order of Quick Clot. Not the massive order I wanted to make because my original massive order still has not shipped, but that's okay. Hashtag business. We made another massive order of Quick Clot. We made deer stew with matzah. It was freaking delicious. We fed our animals. We dug drainage trenches. I tilled 1,000 square foot of garden space. We had men's group Monday last night. We picked up groceries in a safe and social distancing manner from the Walmart, and we did business things. Yeah, that's what we did. It's another thing that's on Patreon. Men's group Monday and women's group Wednesday. The women right now, I believe they're in Proverbs, but I could be wrong, and the men are in the book of Acts. I'm sure somebody will in the comments will say where the women are. See, I don't even know what they're doing in the women's group. You want to know why? Hashtag testosterone. It's not my group. I run the men's group. All right. Thank you all for being here. Let's talk to our Creator. Father Yah, thank you for the opportunity to do this. Father, thank you for this time, and we ordain it to you. Thank you for everybody within the sound of my voice. I pray that you would bless them today. Father, be it your will that you would encourage them and guide them and steward them and walk with us today. Be Yahuwah our Elohim, be the Lord our God, and fill us up. Father, if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, Father, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Father, thank you for being sovereign over all things, including this potential chaos that is COVID-19. Father, all the hurt, the pain, the anxiety, the uncertainty, the illness, the sickness, I pray that you'd remove it, that you'd bring the peace that surpasses all understanding, the gift of the Comforter, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, Father. Thank you for redemption and restoration through Yeshua Messiah, Jesus the Christ. Father, thank you for continuously stretching out your mighty hand to us broken, busted up POSs who simply seek to serve you. Father, I pray that you would just shine your light all over us today. We would have a good day walking with you, that we would chin up, that we would meet the world head on, so we know who we serve. Yahweh is a warrior. Yahweh is his name. Father, thank you for this. Thank you for this time to build testimony, to evangelize, and to get to know you better. We ask these things in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Bless y'all. Have an awesome day. Drink some coffee. Shalom.